Chuck, did you just lose the use of your legs again? Welcome back to Reading Every X-Men Comic Ever, a weekly series where I rank and recap X-Men comics as I read them in my journey to read them all. With Secret Wars now over, we return to our regularly scheduled programming with Uncanny X-Men 181 through 188, written once again by Chris Claremont, with art by John Romita Jr., with the exception of issue 185. Has art by Barry Windsor Smith, who also has a story credit for that same issue. We started kind of all over the place in terms of content, since there isn't really a major plotline going through the first half of these issues, but don't correlate that with quality. All of these issues were pretty good. Honestly, I would call most of them great. For me, that's because of all the focus we get on the individual characters. Specifically, Rogue, Storm, and Rachel Summers, of all characters, who I did not expect to return this early on. I'll go a bit deeper into my thoughts later after the recap. And speaking of, the X-Men have returned from their outer space escapade, arriving in Tokyo for some reason. Oh, and that stowaway dragon? It's big now. Why? I don't know. Is it ever explained? I don't think so. But also, it doesn't matter. It's a big reptile in Japan. It fucking rules by default. Of course, the dragon terrorizes the city, and the X-Men try and stop it, and they save a few people in the process. Chuck gets rocks dropped on his head, and he thinks he's lost the use of his legs again. Eventually, Lockheed rolls up and has a chat with the big dragon, and it just fucking leaves. Well, that's happening. Rogue returns to the mansion to check on Kitty and the New Mutants. Because, the X-Men were gone for a week. As she wanders the empty mansion, she checks on the messages and gets distracted by a distress call from Michael Rossi, so she immediately goes to rescue him. The journey from Tokyo to Westchester took a lot out of her, and hearing that message made the Carol Danvers part of her brain take over, since Carol and Rossi are very close friends. Her rescue attempt goes semi-flawlessly. This meeting gets troubling when Rogue brings the injured Rossi to her home. It's Carol's home, and she doesn't realize she's not actually Carol until Rossi starts pointing it out to her. This leads the 18-year-old Rogue to start having a mental breakdown and spills everything to Rossi because she can't help it, and at this point, she can't differentiate between Carol and herself. His response to all the information he's given is not great, but understandable at least. We then move over to a time lost Rachel Summers, who you might remember from Days of Future Past. She's in this universe now, and just wandering the streets of New York, and getting chased by Selene, who is trying to take her as an apprentice. If you don't know who Selene is, she appeared in the New Mutants issues I covered a few weeks back, and is a mutant witch who kills people to make herself immortal and tries to take any mutant girl with psychic powers as an apprentice. The New Mutants buried her in a fucking mountain, but now she's here in New York. I do not know how she's here, why she is here, and honestly, I don't really care. The X-Men show up, rescue Rachel, and chase off Selene. Good fucking riddance. In the aftermath of her encounter with Rossi, Rogue decides to run away again, this time to Louisiana. Storm realizes she's gone and finds her, and the two just kind of talk about Rogue's power and personality. And Storm willingly offers up her powers as a show of good faith and trust. Storm is not the only one looking for Rogue, however. The military, led by government dickhead and mutant racist Henry Gyrick, is also looking for her because of her attack on the SHIELD helicarrier. For this hunt, Gyrick has a new gun. It's called the Neutralizer Gun, and it can theoretically neutralize the powers of a mutant. It was made by Forge, who is around now, and he makes weapons for the government. I'm sure that will last. The military finds Rogue, thanks to the device the Avengers used to track her in Avengers Annual 10, and shoot her. But thanks to Storm's powers, she's able to hold them at bay long enough for Storm to wake up. The two women attempt to rescue some innocent fishermen, giving Gyrick the time he needs to set the gun to full power, because for some reason it wasn't before, and shoot at Rogue again. Except he misses, and hits Storm instead. Forge, feeling appropriately guilty for what's happened to Storm, decides to take care of her, as she deals with the grief and sadness at the loss of her powers. Storm and Forge have some very cute moments together, until she eavesdrops on a phone call and realizes that Forge is the one that built the weapon that took away her powers, And as you might imagine, she doesn't take it well and decides to leave. As she tries to leave, she's attacked by a dire wraith, and there's more of them who are going to attack Forge. So she goes back in to save him despite her feelings for him. The X-Men arrive fashionably late and assist against the dire wraiths, and then shadow demons start coming out of the walls. Said shadow demons are too much for the X-Men and Forge to handle, so Amanda and Ileana come to rescue the day with magic. After that fight is completed, the X-Men then discuss whether or not they should still be around, considering they don't seem to be doing much good, and mutant hate has only gotten worse. Rachel busts in at this point and informs them just how important they are, and if they don't act, this world could very well end up like hers, with all of them super fucking dead. And that's where we end the recap. After the mediocrity of Secret Wars, these issues were a breath of fresh air. There's so much great stuff here, and I had to cut a bunch out of the recap just to keep things moving at a reasonable pace. For example, Ileana revealing herself as a mutant and a sorceress to the X-Men, and more importantly, her brother Colossus, which was a great scene, or Rogue having the realization that she alone chose to help those fishermen. It wasn't under Storm's influence or Carol's, it was her. Speaking of Rogue, her mental breakdown in issue 182 really articulates her issues in a way we've never seen before that, especially thanks to the art. It's a phenomenal scene, but it's also like heartbreaking. There's also a scene with Lee Forrester rescuing Magneto from a shark attack in the last issue. I don't know where that goes, but I'm excited to see. I think the rankings alone are evidence enough for how good I think these issues were, and they've really reinvigorated my enjoyment of both this project and these characters. So it's a shame that we won't be back with them for like a month. Next week, we return to the New Mutants and actually see how they got out of the Massachusetts Academy and rescue Kitty and Doug. Also, apparently, the art with these next issues is real good, and I'm real excited for that. See you then.